Hey guys, this is Ernest and welcome to this video. So in this presentation I'm going to share with you guys my game plan Z financial roadmap for Generation Z. Okay. So quick disclaimer, this game plan is not for everybody. It's pretty much on a case by case basis, but the plan is intended for Generation Z. And you'll see the reasons why throughout this presentation. But the main thing is that you guys have time on your hands, okay? You have much more time than other generations, okay? Next one, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only, and I'm not utilizing any of my state licenses in this presentation. Okay. First one, you need income, right? For anything to work, as far as with finances, you have to have some sort of income. So the easiest way, if you don't have skills yet, is just to get a job, right? An entry level job. So benefits of having a job in general. A lot of people base their identity on their work or their job. So that's something there. But the main thing is obviously the income, right? The paycheck. Also, joy of being independent. You get to work with your coworkers and they become your friends over time. You get to polish your communication skills and it gives you your life meaning and purpose. Okay. Now, I chose a very simple salary, and this one's based on McDonald's restaurant manager salary here in the United States. The reason I chose this is because literally there's a McDonald's on every corner, right? In every city, in every state, and so that way there's really no excuses. Okay. In other videos and other training that I have, I go over remote income and all that good stuff. But in this case, I want to pretty much simplify it for anybody to do. Okay. So when you work at McDonald's as a restaurant manager, the average income is right there, 54,000. So we're going to go off the average if you look at the monthly pay of $4,580, okay? So there it is, 4,500. So everything's going to revolve around this income. So if you make more, even better. Even if you make a little less, it's okay, but anybody can work at McDonald's, okay? Next part of the plan is van life, okay? So this has became very popular over the last 4 or 5 years, especially on TikTok. It's pretty much what made it famous, and it's extremely famous with Gen Z. That's why I have this plan as Gen Z. Okay, but there's a lot of really good reasons why this became so popular, and you can see right from this photo why people get to work, from anywhere with the internet, and you can be wherever you want, right? Anywhere in the United States in nature, at the beach, in the mountains, wherever, the desert. And as long as you have an internet signal, you're still connected to the world. And so if you can make money online with a remote income, you can do it from anywhere. But there's a lot of people that do other things too to make income. But van life makes it a lot cheaper. Okay. So some benefits of van life: you get to save thousands of dollars on rent. Freedom to move wherever you want, pretty much anytime you want. You just turn on the car and go, right? Cheapest way to see the United States if you're interested in that. You get to connect with nature. You learn how to live with less. You become much more self reliant and you minimize your carbon footprint. So, in order to compare this to a different type of lifestyle, is the normal traditional just rent an apartment, right? So I'm in Orange County and I looked around in this area. So here's in Santa Ana, and this one came up. So for this comparison, we're just going to look at the one bedroom. One bedroom, one bath, 764 square feet, which is $2,675 a month in this particular apartment, okay? Plan B and C down there, if you get a two bedroom or three bedroom, it can go 3,300 to 3,600, so it goes up pretty quickly. Okay, but just for this example, it's 2,600 a month that we're going to talk about. Compare it to van life, the expenses that go in here. This is the one that I chose, by the way. I love the look of it, and I just love. There's a lot of van life like videos on TikTok and YouTube, and they like this because it's very easy to build on it as well. So if you get an RV, it's a little more pricey unless you get like an older RV that's already built out for you. But I love this one, and just as a cargo van. Okay, so this is a 2017 Ram Pro Master that I found on cargurus.com. It's still available if you see this video in the next few days. I don't know later if it'll be available. But this one's a 2500, 136 high roof cargo van for $25,000, and it's in Norco. Okay, so if you scroll down on the website, it shares with you, financing. So if you were to put $2,000 down, which is 8% of the purchase price, and I just left it on the credit score good. So if you have a good credit score and long term is 72 months, which I'm surprised because normally you could do like 84 months. You can do a lot longer. But in this case, I just went with 72 months. The payment will be $497 at an APR of 12.09%. Okay? So if you have better credit than this, it'll be cheaper. If you have worse, then it'll be a little more. But regardless, and you can go cheaper van, by the way. I've seen stuff for $5,000, $10,000. But this is the van that I personally like, so that's why I went with that. So here's the numbers, and again, comparing it to apartment rent. So if you were to get that apartment that I shared with you, $2,000 security deposit, 2,600 for first month's rent. So just walking into the apartment, you have to come up with $4,675 plus credit check or whatever other fee that they charge you. I remember the last apartment that I had years ago, they charged me for like the remote and like other stuff, so it might be a little bit more. Okay. The rent payment again is $26.75 a month, plus rental insurance. Normally they make you get that, so that's $14 a month. So total is $26.89 per month. Now let's compare it to a van purchase. Now, if you did $2,000 a month, like I shared with you, I'm sorry, $2,000 down. The auto payment is $497. Auto insurance, you obviously need insurance on it, so that's $157. And again, this could be cheaper or more. It's cheaper if like you're on a plan with like your parents and you just add the car, right? And then you just pay them. But $157. So total is $654 per month. Okay? And just minusing those, you're looking at a savings of $2,000 and $2,035. Okay? Already you can tell it's a huge savings. Okay? And if we were to compare it to like LA pricing, or or we went more exaggerated on the van price and got something cheaper, you can see that the savings is pretty huge, right? But in this case, $2,000 a month in savings. Okay, now we have something to work with, and this is just savings, by the way. Okay, now let's go into real estate. Okay, now I'm big on real estate. I love real estate. Right now, a lot of people are complaining about inflation and rental prices, and buying is even harder to do. That's why I need to share with you van life and saving money first. But I still think real estate is a great buy at any time, and even now. Okay. So owning real estate, here's some of the benefits. So the market gives you appreciation. So over time, the price of the house is worth more and all the properties around, so that makes yours worth more. And so later when you sell or refinance, that's your money, right, with equity. IRS will give you tax advantages. That's why a lot of wealthy people and rich wealthy people, they like to buy real estate for the tax advantages part of it. Okay. Next one, leverage the bank to purchase real estate. You can literally put 3.5% down and buy your property. So another way to put it is, if I was the bank and I wanted to be your partner in buying the house and we bought it together, all you need is 3.5% to 10% down. Let's just say it's 10%, right? You're going to put 10%, I'm going to put 90% of the money that you need to buy this property. So, and you get to keep all of these different benefits, including selling it, willing it, all that good stuff. So, and I'm putting up 90% of the money. Okay, so that's how a bank works, and that's how you leverage the bank to buy property. Next one, hedge against inflation. This one's actually probably one of the biggest ones, and why wealthy people stay wealthy for this reason. But there's two ways of looking at it, okay? So when you buy a house and you get a loan, normally you get a 30-year loan, okay? Which for some people they think that's bad because it's like, oh my God, I'm in debt for 30 years. Look at it this way, okay? For 30 years on this particular house, you're going to have the exact same payment because it's a fixed payment, okay? So if you have the same payment, that means in 5 years, 10 years, all the rental rates, while everybody else's rent goes up, yours, you literally just locked in for the next 30 years. So that's how you can hedge against inflation. The other way around, if you decided to rent out the property, every year you can raise the rents on your tenants. So that's why you can hedge against inflation two different ways. Okay. Next one, create equity paying down the mortgage. So over time, even if the market didn't give you the equity because it's worth more in the future, which it will, because God only made so much land. But even if we weren't even counting that, you're paying down the mortgage, so you're creating that equity anyway. Okay? And if you put tenants in there, then guess who's paying it down? Your tenants, right? Which generates, the very last one, generates you cash flow, extra passive income for you. Okay? So I looked around for an example to share with you guys, and this one is on Zillow. And I looked up one in Crestline, right across the street from a property that I have in Crestline. Okay, so this one has an asking price of $169,000. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 388 square feet, so it's pretty tiny cabin. And as you can tell right there, estimated. If you got qualified for a mortgage, it would be $1,072 per month. Okay, so those numbers are literally already on there. So it made it simple for us, right? Now, if you scroll down on Zillow, it shares with you some other things. So again, the Zestimate is 169, and then the rentals estimate. So the rents in that area is $1,450. Okay, you might be able to even get more than that, but $1,450 is what the rents are going in that area. Okay, so let's go over the numbers now. So with your expenses, again, if the asking price is $169 and you put 3.5% down, so that's $5,943. The mortgage payment, which was right there on Zillow, is $1,072. Besides that, you have to pay home insurance, which is, I just looked up the average, it's $115 per month. And then I looked up property taxes, which is the asking price times 1.25% divided by 12. So that comes out to $176 a month in property taxes. Okay. So total is $1,363 per month. Okay. Now, let's consider this a $169,000 asset. Okay, because that's what you have. And right now it's worth that. It's going to be worth more later. Now the rental income that you could get, we just got that number. It was right on Zillow as well. So $1,450 per month is what you're going to rent it for. Okay, so that's the income. So literally we just subtract one from the other, right? Now at first this doesn't look like a lot. Okay, it doesn't look like you're going to get rich off of this, because when you subtract $1,450 income minus your expenses of $1,363, you only have $87 a month. So I'm sure most people are going to be like, why am I going to do that? Right? $87 a month. Okay. Now, you're going to see the big picture in a few minutes, but even $87 a month, it's still something, right? And this is going to be literally forever, at least. Okay, because remember, next year you can raise the rent, and so you start increasing this passive income. Okay, but in this example, I'm sharing with you just renting it out to tenants in the normal rental rate. But if you were to do a short-term rental, like rent it on Airbnb, and there's other websites, there's Verbo, there's Expedia, there's Booking.com. There's a lot of different places that you can rent it. I know a bunch of other ones as well. So you can make literally thousands of dollars a month in passive income in this way. But again, I want to make it super simple, so I'm not even talking about that extra income. I'm just assuming you're going to make $87 a month, okay? The next step is implementing infinite banking concept, okay? Now, some of the benefits for this, and the name of it, the tax code is 7702, so that's why I call it 7702 retirement account. In the industry, it's IUL. But the benefits is you create a tax advantage retirement. Okay. The next one, eliminate risk of the stock market so you don't lose. Like, for example, if you have a 401k, which I think if you work for McDonald's, they're probably going to give you a 401k. But you can literally lose money in the stock market, right? Because your money is in a retirement account, but it's tied to the stock market. So here, there's no stock market risk. You get high paid returns on your cash value that we're going to get into. You have living benefits in case of illness and injury. So if you get ill or injured or something happens and you need to access money, you can actually access it from here. And you have access to a lot of money. You'll see that in a second. You have access to the cash value at all times. Compared to if you had a 401k retirement plan, there would be penalties to pulling your money out. Okay. And then the last one, there is a death benefit for your family legacy. So if something were to happen, that money would go to them. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question before I start sharing this infinite banking strategy with you. If I was going to give you a farm and you had to pay income taxes on having that farm, would you rather pay income taxes on the seed or would you rather pay on the harvest? And the harvest comes in later. And let me compare it to your job, right? Your job is the paycheck that comes in, which is the seed, and the harvest is your retirement. Okay? So meaning later when you're 65, when you're going to start utilizing your harvest or your retirement. Okay? But again, back to this question, would you rather pay income taxes on the seed or the harvest? Okay? A lot of people, they just kind of guess. But let me share with you, if you're going to pay, our partner, the IRS, I'd rather pay less, right? Than more. Doesn't that only make sense? I'd rather keep more of the money. So if you look at the seeds, I'd rather pay 1/3 of the seeds than 1/3 of the entire harvest. Okay. But if you compare that to the 401k, how is the 401k paid out? People's 401k from their job, it comes out of their paycheck. They get to choose, and normally the employer matches 3 to 6% or so. And it comes out of their paycheck. They don't pay taxes, right? It gets compounded. Then they have to pay taxes when at the harvest when they pull out their money. But now they're going to pay way more because they're paying out at the harvest, okay? Compared to paying it just on the seeds. And so the 7702 retirement plan, you actually pay on the seed, not on the harvest. So all the compounding effect and the entire harvest is all yours, okay? So you get to put more money in your pocket and in your family's pocket, really. And some of this information, it's in Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game. So if you guys haven't read that, I would recommend it. But with this retirement account, the way it works is you have a premium that's flexible and you get to actually pretty much choose it. For example, mine goes from $50 to $500 and I can choose, go up and down anytime I'd like. Just have to call them and change it. But you have a flexible premium. It has the protection because it's a life insurance policy. So it has a tax-free death benefit if something were to happen. Okay? Literally, it could be as much as you'd like. Okay? For me, I believe I have 3 point something million right now. It bypasses probate, so it doesn't go to any attorneys or judges or anything because it goes directly to your beneficiaries. And it has living benefits, so if you get critically ill, chronic or long-term care or terminal, basically if you can get a doctor's note and you need help with 2 out of the 6 daily activities, like going to the restroom and transferring or help eating or whatever, and you get a doctor's note for that, then you have access to the death benefit, which is 25 to 75% of that money. So if you have $1 million policy, you have access to up to $750,000. Okay, even if you've only paid a couple months of premium. Okay, but the reason why this is so important for retirement is the right hand side in the green. So savings wise, think of it like a savings account. Okay, so it adds it. You're making interest on your money, and it's based on the market index, but you don't lose money like the 401k where it's tied in the stock market. It's just indexing the stock market. Okay. In another presentation, I actually go a little bit more into detail on how that works, but basically it just mimics the market. Okay. It has liquidity, so all the money that you're earning in it, it's liquid, so you can either withdraw it or you can take a loan against it. Okay. And the one that I would highly recommend is do a loan against it, and I'll share with you why in a second. Okay. It's tax advantaged, so you already pay the taxes and you put the money in here, so it gets to compound, and you get to keep all of it. Okay, because you've already paid the taxes. Because you get to choose when to pay taxes with these vehicles, but it's always better to pay it first, so that way all the rest of the money is compounded and it's all your money. Okay. So it has those contributions that are yours, and it's creditor protected. Okay, because it's a private policy. So let me give you guys the numbers. So again, 7702 retirement account. Let's just say that you accumulated $30,000 of cash value in this policy, okay, for a second. And you're earning 6.9% interest on this money, okay? And in this example, you have a $900,000 death benefit coverage, so you get to have that. And the premium, again, it's flexible, but let's just say you're putting $600 a month in premium on the side for this, for your retirement, which I recommend more than that, but you know, this is a good baseline, $600. Now, if you wanted to get pull money out, okay, this is what I suggest. Do it as a loan, an auto withdrawal, okay? So it's basically a private loan because it doesn't affect your credit and it goes directly to you. It doesn't involve anything else. Pretty much your money, okay? So it's collateralized by your retirement account. So you can take, in this case, $30,000 loan, okay? So you do have to pay yourself back. So in this case, 2.9% interest is what you'll pay back. Collateralized by the cash value. So in this case, again, you have 30,000, so you can take up to 30,000 out. It's paid back through the same premium that you're already paying. So in this case, you're going to put $30,000 in your pocket and think about it. Okay, this is where it gets pretty cool. Okay, the $30,000 in your pocket. Okay, and what's happening is that $30,000 in cash value that you have in your IUL account, you're actually not taking it out. Remember, you're taking a loan against it. So you still have the $30,000. You're just taking a loan collateralized by that $30,000 from the insurance company, just like a lender. Okay? So you're pulling out the $30,000, putting that in your pocket, but you still have the $30,000 in the IUL, which means you're still making 6.9% on your $30,000. Okay? So if you have a loan against it for $30,000, you're paying 2.9. You just subtract the two interests so you can see what you're ahead. In this case, you're making 4% continued interest earned on the $30,000, even though you have $30,000 in your pocket. Okay, pretty cool, right? So, quick hint: the same thing works in real estate as well. Okay, except it's a house, right? So if the house is worth not 30,000 but 300,000, right? You can take a loan against it, normally up to 75%, and it works the exact same. It doesn't change the value of the house at all. Okay, and if you continue to rent it out, you're still making money on it. It's just not interest driven, it's just profit driven on rents. Okay, so pretty cool, right? Now, another quick hint: rich people are doing this in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, in fact, I have a full presentation on just this part, but Johnson and Johnson put $23 million and gave it to their executives through these accounts, through IULs. So you could imagine millions of dollars goes in. They get multi-millions of dollars in death benefit coverage for their family. Then they took loans against it, so they pulled out millions of dollars tax-free. Just to let you guys know on a bigger scale how they did it, okay? But you can do this on a smaller scale. So just putting everything together in the infinite banking concept, this is pretty much the way it works. Okay, you have your income, you're paying the house and all your expenses. So you're paying your vehicle payment, groceries, internet, cell phone, entertainment, all that good stuff. And then you're also paying your premiums to the cash value account. Then it goes around, and anytime you'd like, I would I would build it up and do it later, but you could literally every month do this. Take loan against your cash value, and another hint, you can actually take loans against your house too, or at least have access through a HELOC. So all these different parts, by the way, I'm licensed to do. So if anybody out there is interested, um, reach out to me and I can help you with that. But the big thing is having access to both of this money. They're both liquid from your house or your account, and you're just moving money around. And so both is getting bigger and bigger. Over time, your house is being worth more and you're paying it down. Your cash value is growing as well, and you can use money from both. And so some people, they like to build it up, then move their money over basically a few times, and you're utilizing literally the exact same money. Okay? So, for example, let's just say you gained $50,000 of equity in the house, right? And you borrowed against it, and you pumped up your IUL. That means you put $50,000 of cash value. Now you have cash value you're making interest on. Then, as soon as you can, because there are some rules as far as timing wise. Then you borrow against the $50,000. Okay. Then you get that money and you can pay back the house or utilize it for something else, another business, buying another house, or whatever. But now you pumped up both assets with $50,000 in this case. So your house now gained 50,000 in equity, and now your cash value, your bank account. I like to think about it like a big bank account for your family. Is you just increased it by $50,000 as well. That's earning interest that you can borrow against anytime. And so amazing infinite banking concept. Okay. Now let's put it all together. Okay. This part, in my opinion, is super exciting. So again, real estate. Let's just say I just rounded it up, $200,000, $10,000 investment down. So let's just assume that the market goes up 6.9%. So your return on investment year one is $13,000 of equity that it just built. Okay. Now to see what your cash on equity return is, you just get whatever you put in, which is the 10,000, divided by what it made. In this case, it's 13,000. When you divide those, you get the return on investment. So that's 138%. Okay, on your money. And I doubt that the bank's going to give you that. But let's fast forward 30 years. This is where you can kind of see the big picture. Okay. And this is why I'm sharing this with Gen Z and making it a financial roadmap for Gen Z, because you have time in your hands. You have these 30 years. Okay. I can't give this advice to everybody for that reason, but you actually have the timing. Okay. So this house worth 200,000 will be worth $1.4 million in 30 years. Okay. Don't believe me? This one I got from on the bottom. It says, what is value of my house.com/future home value calculator. So it basically calculates, I just put 6.9%, 30 years, starting house rate 200,000, and it gave me the 1.4 million. Okay. And I believe that because if you look back 30 years, this property that was worth, or is worth now 200,000, it used to be worth 10,000 bucks, $10,000 to $20,000. Okay, that cabin in this case. So again, we already went through the benefits: appreciation, tax shelter, rental income, inflation hedge, all that great stuff. The next part we didn't even get into, but solar. Putting solar on the roof doesn't cost anything to get started. let's just say it's $20,000. You were going to pay electricity anyway. It just replaces your electricity. It gives you long-term savings, 30% tax incentive right now on your taxes, inflation hedge as well, and then energy independence. Okay. More importantly, in 30 years, it'll be paid off. Okay. Normally, these loans are about 20 years max, so it'll be paid off in 30 years, and then you're generating free electricity. Next one is the loan. I suggest getting a full HELOC. Okay. But that's a whole nother story. But even if it's a mortgage or a HELOC, in this case, your monthly payment is 1363, like we shared. Again, you used it to leverage. You have tax advantages, inflation hedge, and you get to use other people's money. Fast forward in 30 years, it's paid off. Preferably, if you had that house and you rented it out, either way, it's paid off. And then the last one is the IUL that I just shared with you, which stands for Index Universal Life. Assuming a payment of $600 for this retirement vehicle that you're setting aside, a death benefit of $900,000, and it's making 6.9% on average. Again, tax advantage, you have living benefits, and you have access to the money. So in 30 years, you'll have, in this case, $567,000. Last time I did the math with this. So here's the beautiful thing, okay? Just add the 1.4 million to the 567. You have, your net worth will be $2 million, okay? There's not a lot of people that have $2 million this easy with this type of plan, okay? And this is just one property, by the way. Can you do more than one? You could, right? But even just with this is a great retirement plan. And it's very simple to follow, okay? And in this case, you can continue to rent it out, and you'll make money. You can take, I mean, here's the different options, okay? You can continue to rent it out, and that's your retirement. You can build another like ADU or a house or park, in the back and continue to live rent free. You could take a reverse mortgage against it and use that for your retirement. You can do the same thing with the IUL and take an income from that, and it'll start taking from that and the death benefit over time. And so you can use that for your retirement. You can sell the entire thing and move it into an annuity and live off of that in your retirement. So there's a lot of different things that you can do just with this alone. Okay, so very, very cool plan, very easy to implement. And again, I call it Gen Z game plan. Okay, if you guys are interested in me doing a custom game plan with you, this is my QR code where you can scan it and you can set up an appointment with me, and then we'll do a plan just for you. Okay. I look forward to seeing you guys over Zoom for a one-on-one. Have a great rest of your day. Okay. Bye.